Everyone, it's Michelle Angelique, Truth and Integrity Warrior. Today, I'm coming with A Rise of a Species, Mankind. I don't have an episode name because this is just shooting from the hip. Today's July 4th, 2022. The date's relevant because tomorrow is July 5th, and it's the day that the particle collider is going to compress two particles coming from two different directions and to see what happens, right? And you guys know it as CERN. So because this event is happening tomorrow, I feel pressured to get this information out before that date, or at least by that date, right? And I'm having a hard time putting the words together to say what needs to be said, right? Not what I need to say, but what needs to be said. And those of you who follow me on this Facebook know that I've been alluding to coming out with some truths that are going to upset a lot of people, right? And all the different streams of knowledges that we have, because it's very disruptive, what I'm going to say. But it's a truth that we got to start looking at and putting all the pieces on the table so that we can get a better idea of what's going on with our world, so we can get it on the right track and in the right direction. I have no bias to anything except the truth. I don't know if that is not bias. That is what it is. I stand with the truth, and where that truth takes me, I must go. If I must make an adjustment, I will adjust to align with the truth. And truth, how do we find truth? Truth has absolutely zero contradictions. That's how we find truth. There's nothing to contradict it. And because we contradict ourselves, we accept the contradiction of our authorities and those who we place as leaders, or those who we put as knowledge keepers ahead of ourselves. They contradict, but because we accept our own contradiction, we let them slide with that. And I don't let anybody slide. I don't let myself slide. So this is a truth that I know, and I don't know anybody else who shares it. I don't know anybody else who sees this, and so coming out with it, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it. I'm nervous about it. Not because I'm worried about people telling me I'm crazy. You know, that doesn't irritate me at all. It's it just will change everything, not just in my life, but it'll change everything in people's lives. Yeah. And it's just I know I need just to get to it, right? I need just to get to it. So I'm just gonna shoot from the hip. I'm not going to look for evidence to prove anything. I can prove it all. It's in texts, it's in ancient scriptures, it's in what we have in so many different places and pieces around the world as evidence, but the pieces got to be brought together. And because we fight so much, everybody just has a piece of the truth or a truth, and we can't see a clear picture. I know that's repetitive, and I know I've said that so many times, but I'm just explaining that I can't pull and retrieve information to back up what I'm saying. It's just so much information everywhere that to put it in this video to back up everything I'm about to say, I'll never get through the video. I'll never get to say what needs to be said. So that's what I'm trying to say. And I thank you for bearing with me and waiting, being patient as I'm trying to say, trying to put the words together, right? I'm not trying to put the words together. I'm trying to get the courage. I'm trying to get the courage. But here we go. As a lot of you know, I've been talking about emotions and how to repair them, how to repair our bodies through nutrition, just how to repair our skin from different damages from this nanobiotechnology we got in the food system, in our bodies, and in our atmosphere, and how it's affecting us. So it's repair, 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 right? Strengthen, strengthen, strengthen. Strengthen the species is my objective. And this podcast series that I started on my birthday, October 25th, 2022. Sorry, not 22. We're in 22. The cat just opened the door, so it threw me off. Sorry. It's October 25th, my birthday, 2020, when I started the series podcast of The Rise of a Species, Mankind, right? And in there, I talked about how we're in a machine, virus mind system. And this is the basis of all evil, because it needs to generate negativity on all levels within this machine to siphon the energy of living life forms within it, right? Pull from their consciousness, because our consciousness is connected to a life force, which some call love, which some call universe, which some call Holy Spirit. We're all saying the same thing, so we need not to fight about it. But it comes from a good source, right? Good force, good source, which is true and it's organic in its nature. And there's something artificial siphoning that, siphoning and harnessing that energy to maintain the propulsion, the energetics, the continuation of this machine. And I'll get into that within this video. This is going to be a very long video, so I may be cutting it up and putting it out, just sections of it, to be able to pull the attention of the different viewers out there so that we can see this whole big picture in this one long video. Now, about 10 months ago, roughly 10 months ago, I stopped making, which was the last video I did on A Rise of a Species, Mankind. And it was when I started recognizing there's angels, right? The good guys, good angels, good guys. When before, I didn't think there was any good guys because we were just stuck in some shit, in a world of chaos, and all I saw was evil. All I saw was a bad outcome, negativity, things that are not human, consuming men. And I seen that with my eyes, and I lived it growing up, watched it growing up, right? So all this negativity, how could there be anything good allowing all this negative to happen, right? And you can hear those in my previous podcasts, my experiences. And in August 2021, the perception, or what came into my perception, was the name Uriel, right? Uriel. And it was so constant coming up that even the customer service representative's name was Uriel. The video that would just pop on my screen would be Uriel. Somebody I just meet would be called Uriel. So it was just so consistent in such a short time frame that it's like, okay, what am I supposed to pay attention to this Uriel name, right? Start looking it up, and I have always heard of Archangel Michael, but never looked into it. Thought it was fake fantasy, wishy-washy. I never believed that there's a God as an individual. February of this year, I spoke to my arm wrestling coach back in San Diego, and he had a Bible study. He invited me, right? And I sat there and I listened, and I asked the question because I felt comfortable enough, because as my arm wrestling coach, I could ask him this question, and I knew that he wouldn't attack me by me asking, because he's my arm wrestling coach, right? So I said, do you guys really believe there's an individual, like a physical person, like a man in the sky looking out for human beings, And he said, yes. And I looked at the rest of the people that were in his Bible group, Bible study, and they were all like, yes. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, really? Because I never asked that question. I just assumed they thought it. Wasn't sure if that's how the Christians thought. Not they thought it, but how Christians and Catholics thought, right? Because I'm not Christian, I'm not Catholic, but I believe in a higher power, right? But I can't say something that I don't have no evidence, no personal experience with, to have a testimony, to have my own evidence. Because you can't prove to somebody what you've experienced. But if you're a person with integrity, the people can believe in what you're saying And so when they have their own experience, they can connect the dots. That's all. That's all testimony does, right? But that's all we got. It's testimony. So these people are telling me that this is what their belief is. I didn't go into their testimony or why they believe this, because I know that religions people just believe out of a blind faith, necessity meaning life has been so ugly that to find anything that's good, they're gonna hold on to it and fight for it, right? And that's the problem, is we're fighting for what we believe without knowing, with some type of personal testimony or some type of evidence, right? And we will fight anything that opposes what got us to have to get into that belief system. Meaning that if I got to make an adjustment of the pieces of evidence that I've collected, if I have to make an adjustment because new evidence has presented itself and I've had a personal experience with that new evidence, I got to make the adjustment. Meaning what I said maybe last year, I may have to make an adjustment this year because new evidence has been shown and I've had some new experience, there's new testimony. And so I will adjust. Bruce Lee came to teach us how we must be like water and fluid, because we're in some tricky waters. And if we're rigid, we will break. Meaning we cannot stand the test of time and flow with what will continue to expand. And our world is expanding. The information in our world is expanding. The evidence is expanding. And so if we're rigid about what we believe and will fight off anybody who has any evidence to present, to say, hey, maybe we should look at this from another angle. It's not stop believing in good. It's just, let's look at this for a second. We are going to fight each other till the end of time. And that's what I'm trying to avoid, is fighting with my brothers and sisters, mankind. When I say mankind, I'm speaking of women, children, men, our species. Everybody has triggers because of the pains that we've lived that we've not dealt with within an emotion that has caused a lot of pain in some way. And so when somebody says something to trigger or step on that pain, we attack. And it's just natural to our nature to do so because we don't know what we're doing. We don't know that is what we're doing. We're not actually defending what we believe, is we are not recognizing that there's a pain inside that's being remembered by what somebody said, and it causes a triggered effect. And it's something that we need to look at and take responsibility for personally, but that takes a lot of fucking courage, because it'll change your world. You will have to change as an individual, and people don't want to do that, so it's just much easier to attack the motherfucker right in front. That's just how it is. And I understand that, because I was an attacker. I was somebody who'd be like, what? I step up to people regularly. I learned to calm the fuck down. And I learned to look inwards at myself. And that's what I've been doing for the past, I know I say about 2 years, right? For the past 2 years. And it's been fucking rough. And I know I'm not the only one who's been going through this journey lately. 2020, 2021, it's just been fucking rough. And I know it's not just, like I said, for me. It's been for our species, because we've had to do a lot of self-evaluating. All right. I had to say those things because of what I'm going to say is going to cause a lot of triggers, and I need people to understand I'm not here to tell them to stop believing in good. Not at all. Keep what you believe in. But what I'm going to say is going to challenge what we've been taught to believe and how to believe. What is actually good has a super impression imposed on top of something that we can't see that is negative, but it roots us in the good, because or else we would not accept what is actually a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's the best scenario I could say. And this is for all religions, right? It's for all religions, for all of our sciences, for all of our education system, for everything we know. There's something superimposed that's negative, but the root is good. You know, the root is good, and this is why we follow, and why we follow our authorities, why we listen to our authorities, we give full respect to our authorities. And when I say that, I don't mean the police system, I mean all the systems. Our entertainment system, our education system, our medical system, our religious system, our political system. We give them full control because we trust and we believe in the good, and that they're there to represent the good of our natural nature. But there is this managers of this reality that don't have that. They know that. They don't fix that. They know that we will do the right thing because we're mankind, and that's what we do. We do the right things for the right fucking reasons. It's natural to our nature to do so. And they use that to their advantage to mislead. To mislead the species and siphon the energy of the species, of a soul they don't know they got. And the soul, for the religious groups, they understand the soul, and for those who are not religious, it's the energetic, electric properties of the bioelectric field that holds a consciousness of information, like a magnetic strip on a credit card. You know, we live in an electromagnetic reality, in a plasma, that in it, the electric part sends the signal. That's the motion, you know, what would you call, like the verb? It moves, it's the action. And what we're talking about, the magnetic, is how you pull the information in and can hold information. The electric is the sending part. You know, that's how our phones work. So that's why it's electromagnetic. Magnetic holds the information, restore information, retain information, and the delivery system is electric. That's how we send signals. We're used to this in our electronics. We're not used to being told that this is how our biogenetics works. So the artificial in electronics, because it's an artificial component, is only a copy or demonstration of the natural life force of our physicality and the reality that we're in. Meaning it has its natural nature of working, but electronics, or through the electronics, we can manipulate that natural nature into being an apparatus. We're not copying the electronics. The electronics are copying the natural nature of the life force that we are one with, right? And that's why a cell phone is an inanimate object, and we are an organic being, one with life force, energy. And that's for those who are of science, and for those who are religion, is with the Holy Spirit, right? And so I'm going to say something right now just so you know my position, where I stand. Because it's important that we know where people stand before they give us information, so we can see when they say the good of God, well, what God are we talking about? What God are you speaking of? For those of you who don't believe in God, let's just say the good of the natural nature of things, because we're saying the same thing. We believe in something that's greater than us, and that we're a part of, but because we can't see it or touch it, we don't know what we fight back and forth. And what I'm trying to do here is not fight between those who believe and those who don't believe in what we understand is the good of God. I'm going to put it like that. Because as of recently, in these past 10 months that I have not made a video, I've been researching and I've been experiencing both those things at the same time. And these incredible experiences that I've been going through in the last 10 months have changed my perspective about a man in the sky. I will tell you that. I will tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. I believe. Let me fix that. I know. There's a big difference. For those of us who believe in anything, it doesn't matter what we attach the word believe to. Believe means I'm not sure, but I hope. And it doesn't mean that means I don't believe in this. That means you hope that this is not true. Not that you know it is or isn't. It's I don't know. So I don't use the word believe unless I don't know something. But I know this to be true. And this is what I'm going to present to you. That there is an individual outside of this physicality that can oversee and oversees and send signals like a reconnaissance force, right? Would do for a prisoner of war, right? You try to get somebody out of prisoner of war, or I should say, a prisoner of war is in, for those of you who don't know, is in the enemy territory, right? And a reconnaissance force comes in, but can't just walk up in there and just, hey, come on, get in my car, let's go. It doesn't work like that. We got to figure out how to get this person, this individual, out of this mayhem, this danger zone, into a safety zone, right? I'm just trying to keep it brief. In general, so they got to send signals, and they got to send clues, and they got to get the attention of that prisoner of war so that they're eye to eye without anybody else knowing. So they can actually get them out of that position that they're in, right? The dangerous position they're in. So we do have help. And it's not just from what we understand is, and I'm going to use the word God right now. And like I said, I know that's a trigger for a lot of people. All kinds of fucking triggers come off with that. I get it. But I got to get general or I'll never get through this conversation. So bear with me, right? And you know what? Let me change that. I'm going to make an adjustment right here. Because it's impossible for us to listen to something when we're constantly triggered in our emotion, right? I get it. Until we resolve that trigger internally, we won't be able to get past that word. So I'm going to pick a new word. We have a protector watching over and can see into this reality. And he has his team of individuals who share his genetic traits and behaviors into this reality. And they get destroyed. And why do they get destroyed? Because we're in a fucking danger zone. This world's a fucking danger zone. And for those of you who live comfortable, I get it. You're like, no, my world's not a danger zone. You just got to work hard to make money. I'm not even going to get it. I was going to get into it, but it'll take me into a different tandem. And this is for those who want to hear what's being said. This protector we are made in this protector's image. And again, I'm not a religious person, so I'm not getting this from rhetoric heard over and over as a kid. For these past 10 months, I've been studying religious texts, ancient texts, Sumerian texts, mythology, texts of mythology from the Nordics, from the Sumerians. I've been digging really deep, and I had to do all these different things to be able to say what I'm about to say, right? I keep saying about to say, but I really haven't said it yet. I haven't said it yet. But I gotta lead up to it. You gotta understand. You gotta lead up to it, because you can't just say it and be like, what? It won't make no sense. It's like bringing an iPhone in 1980 and showing it to people when there was no cell phone ever invented in 1980, right? So that shit won't make no fucking sense. You just hold it and be like, what? So I'm trying to avoid that. What? I'm trying to be like, fucking got it. Fucking got it. I'm trying to get there. So this will be kind of like a, can't even remember the director's name. Quentin Tarantino, shit's all over the place, but at the end, it all comes full circle, and it's like, bam! And you walk out of that movie just like, fuck, that was a fucking trip. So it's going to be a fucking trip right now. That's what I'm trying to say. So we got a protector, right? And his group of individuals who share his genetic traits and lineage. And for those of you who are like, well, what about the female? Give it a second. Just fucking give it a second. For those feminists out there. Wait a minute. We're going to put this right to the side, the information right to the side. We're going to bring it back later, right? And again, I'm asking everybody to keep their belief in good. I am not trying to change anybody's religion, anybody's non-religion. I'm not trying to change anybody. I'm trying to share my personal testimony and experience of what I know. Not what I believe, but what I know. It's like that. And then you can do whatever you want with it. That's what I'm saying. You can do whatever you want with it. But some of us are fucking looking for some direction. And even if they do go to different religions, they ain't fucking finding it. It's because there's a sabotage in there. And that's my fucking point. We got a sabotage going on. And this protector is trying to get us with his crew to understand, meaning along with the crew of this protector, they are trying to get us in a network of information, in a network meaning that only a few people got that network. Like AT&T, right? And then you got another network, Verizon. Only a group of people got Verizon, only a group of people got AT&T, and another T-Mobile, whatever. But we got networks, right? I'm just recognizing right now this is the best way for me to explain this. And these networks, they're all lined up, are frequencies that are invisible, but yet only certain groups of people connect to it because they're in that network, right? They're in that network. So this protector and his allegiance of individuals who are here for the betterment of mankind and to help mankind, they have a network. And we ain't paying no fucking attention to that network because we don't even know that network exists. I'm saying for pretty much the past 10 months or so, if not a little more, I've been recognizing that this network exists, and now I know how it works and how to sync up to it. So, and I don't mean by phone, I mean by our intuition, which is our soul. Our soul is printing out. It's not our soul. Our intuition is an extension of our soul, as far as one of the processes that or abilities our soul has. So the intuition is the printout of what's in the field around us. Remember, we're in an electromagnetic field, and we pick up on information without it having to be read. We sense, we know. And our intuition tells us, and then we ignore the shit out of it. We ain't fucking listening because our logic has been entrained to disregard the coincidence. I mean, we literally say, I don't believe in coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Oh, it can't be a coincidence. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? It's a contradiction. I'll explain. I used to do the same thing until I recognized, why am I saying that? That shit's a fucking contradiction. You know, when I started checking myself regularly, so why am I saying with my own words, it's not a coincidence when I know that fucking coincidence is the reason why I'm paying extra fucking attention. Needs extra attention. Because that shit is impossible to happen, but yet it's happening. So the coincidence, so I changed my words because we've all been entrained to see something and not accept it. And that's how you hide the truth in plain sight, and people reject it and don't utilize it, right? Or don't do what needs to be done because of the evidence that's right in front. And so this evidence is of coincidence. This network works off of coincidence. And synchronicity is the action of the noun, which is the coincidence. The coincidence is this just happened. The synchronicity is of two things or multiple things coming together to synchronize as one coincidence, right? One situation that is like, what the fuck? How the fuck, right? How? Well, that's the network. That's the clue. That's recon saying, pay attention, motherfucker. I'm sending you the info. Get it. Turn left. Get it. Move right. Pay attention to this individual right here. Or pay attention to the words that are being said to you right here. I mean, that's how the coincidence come in, is there's something fucking important here going on that's important to my well-being and those around me. And that's how we need to start recognizing this network that we are all a part of, because we're all made in the image of God, right? And so there's more to this. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. That's just limited, and it just stops at this protector that I'm talking to you about. And I'll get more into who this protector is, and I'll name names, right? I'm gonna name names, but towards the end. Right now, I ain't trying to fucking trigger nobody. It's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep from getting people popping off and not be able to listen to the rest of the information. So if our triggers are not hit, we can keep listening. As soon as somebody hits a fucking trigger, it's like, fuck you, and then everything just goes to shit, and we can't move forward. So I will get to the names towards the end. Paying attention to this network is fucking crucial in these extreme fucking times that we're living in right now. And tomorrow, CERN, on the 5th of July, is colliding two forces of opposites coming together. Now, like I said, it's like a Quentin Tarantino movie. I'm just taking information, giving you a chunk, putting it to the side. Now we're going to talk right now about another chunk of information, and that's what's going on with this particle collider, what we need to look at, what we need to start paying attention to, okay? I'm not trying, let's see, my focus is not to put fear. Not to put fear. My focus is, okay, what are we going to do with the shit that's right in front of us? What are we going to do? Action plan. Action plan, right? And so, if we don't know what to do when we're confronted with something, usually we stay frozen, and our subconscious hasn't been informed of how to fucking take an action, so we just freeze and trying to get us out of that fucking freeze mode into action mode, into knowing how to sense and listen to your intuition, knowing how to notice there is a network and it works off of synchronicities and it will collide together as a coincidence, and that's where we know that we're in this flow and we need to follow this flow for safety under extreme circumstances. And those extreme circumstances are already happening now. We ain't gotta fucking wait for tomorrow CERN to do what they're doing. Shit's fucking rough and tough out there. And I speak from 100% experience. 100% experience. And it ain't fucking easy. You know, we're gonna break and we're gonna go into a downward spiral, or we're going to look at that we're going through some purging right now and we need to get all of our shit out. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to get us to a better place. You know, we got to get out of the place that we won't physically get out of. So bad or hard things need to happen to push us into a direction. And that also is part of this network. You will be pushed into your proper right direction for your well-being, and it's fucking uncomfortable. It'll change your fucking world. It'll make you not want to do what you have to do, you know, because that's what it's all about. Is we got to get shit done, and we don't want to do it. We got to get shit done. We don't want to do it. We know we got to get shit done, and we know we got to do it, and not until something fucking pushes us out of that zone do we like, fuck, now I got to get it done, right? Because now I got nothing, you know. Now I'm forced to survive, or I'm forced to make it out, or I'm forced to make a left decision or a right decision. When I said that, I probably triggered the shit out of a bunch of political people. Let me fix that. Is going in this direction or that direction? That's what I'm trying to say. And so that's part of the network also, is you will be led to discomfort to make you start going in the right way. So we're going to go back. We're going to put like what I just finished saying to the side. And we're going to now go into tomorrow, the 5th of July. And what's going on with the with CERN and this collider, right? What happens if you smash two particles together? And I think that's everybody's biggest question that doesn't seem to get answered. And so I'm going to answer that right now. And I don't need to be a physicist or a special this or a specialized that. I say what I say, and then those specialists can come and say, well, that shit ain't true. But so far they haven't. And I doubt they're going to. Because I'm only saying what is, and then just putting it in simple terms. And that's the problem, is that we don't get this information in simple terms. It's complex. And so we never really get the relevance of what's going on. And that's with everything, not just this certain thing. That's with everything. In nutrition, health, medicine, education, is we're not connecting information because we all speak differently to say the same thing. And so I want to make this simple about CERN. When we have two particles collide, we have a left spin and a right spin. That's what's going on. One is spinning left, one is spinning right. I'm dyslexic, so right now, I'll just let you know they're spinning opposites. And when you press these two opposites together, you get this push. You get one torquing one way, and you get one torquing the other way. And when you have them torquing into each other, well, they just connect, right? But this is opposing. And so it's going to create like a screw cap. So when we're talking about spinning, the relevance of spinning is because we're in an electromagnetic field. We have all these circles around us in this field. This plasmic field, if you look at it under a ferroscope, you can see these circles spinning in both directions. It just is what it is. I'll put a link on the bottom of who demonstrates this very well. And I'll just put in there the magnetic field explained by such and such, a ferroscope, so you can see with your eyes. So once we see this with our eyes, then we get a better understanding of what's going on in the invisible world. It's not invisible, it's just quantum. It's so small we can't see it, but it don't mean it's not there. Just like when our phone sends a signal all the way to Japan and we're making a phone call, it's something's happening on an invisible wavelength that we're communicating, that things are being moved from one place to another, action at a distance without any connectivity. How is this possible? Because it's under electrical processes that are invisible to our eyes, which we call the quantum world, the really small world, right? But it doesn't mean it's not there. So when we have this collision of two opposing forces, one spinning one way and one spinning another way, you get a torque, because they're both torquing in their direction, right? But when they come together, it's like a tear. What will happen is they'll be able to tear. What they've been trying to get done is get it to enough force. Every time they practice, they do it with a certain amount of force, and now this force, they're saying it's the most they've going to accomplish, or not the most they're going to accomplish, but it's the most force up to date that they're going to use, right? That they've used. But what it will do is, like, if you were trying to, let's use this, it's perfect. I'm so glad it's right here, right? You get a screw top, right? And when you screw it on, one has to go one way, one has to go the other way to be able to screw on. Well, you have to go the opposite direction to screw it off, right? Well, to tear a hole in the atmosphere, or into, not the atmosphere, to tear a hole into, in this reality, you'd have to have enough force of torque in opposite directions to literally tear the field open to go into another reality. That's just how it works. And so that is what they're doing in short. Now, if we trust CERN, we just think they're doing it for shits and giggles, but that's a whole lot of money, a whole lot of time dedicated, a whole lot of brain action going on for shits and giggles, right? Let's see what happens. They know exactly what is the objective. The people who get paid to do menial jobs, not menial, right? But to just get an action done for a paycheck, they're not into the bigger picture of why this was put together. But those who manage our world do. And those who manage our world don't have the best interest for the species of mankind. They don't like mankind at all. And we'll just leave it at that. So, in opening and tearing our reality into other realities, it's how people call opening a portal, right? What they intend to achieve is their prerogative, for their intention, for their direction. And I'm not going to get into it. I just put it in that way so that it doesn't go away from the focus. And the fucking focus is tearing fields of space time open to get into and out of separated fields for a reason. We're in separated fields for a reason. That's why we have different realities, and they're separated by field differences, right? And so to rip a hole open in that field, you have to have a lot of force and torque. This is bringing a lot of fear into people, and it's understandable because, like I said, there's not good intentions coming from those who manage CERN and those who manage our world, who are part of the same conglomerate, same group, right? Those who are opposed to mankind. And the protector I was talking to you about knows this, and it has done his best, and his team has done their best to get us to the point where we're at right now, where we're able to now begin to understand why all the clues were left in the past, And when I say the clues, I'm talking about Yeshua, which those of you who know him as Jesus, is an individual who came to say, look, we're into fucking problems. There's some troublesome shit going on. Pay attention. These are the clues. Let's get this shit figured out. Do things from your heart. Love yourself. Love your neighbor. And watch shit just get fixed, right? That's in short. That's just short. But it was like, let me give you some sense of direction, because you're in a fucked up place. You're in a fucked up place. And so he was born here, right? Born into this reality. That's the only way you get into this reality, is being born into it. You got to be born into this reality, and then you got to remember, and then you got to take action. And you can hold information in a genetic code. And the reason we lose memory is very long. I have it in other videos. I'm trying to think what video I have it in, but we lose memory because we're made of water, and you can erase the information in water with magnetics. And so we go to the birth canal as a magnetic field change, and in that magnetic field change, memory is lost, but the genetic code has that information, and we retrieve it when we get triggered by information that ignites or that turns on that signal to remember. I'm trying to show here how we're all going to start remembering, how we're all going to find some sanctuary in the chaos, knowing that we got this network, knowing we got a protector or some good guys on our side. You know, it depends on how we want to look at it, the term. You know, good guys on our side, the good nature of God, the God that fights for mankind, the good guy for mankind. It's all the same thing. Pick what makes you feel comfortable, but we got help, is what I'm trying to say. And before this experience that I've had, that is personal experiences that I've been having since about, I don't know, about past, I'm trying to gauge the date, but I can say that some extreme things have been going on since August 2021, that my perception has changed, my understanding has changed, and we got some good guys. Where do I want to go? And so I want to give hope to you guys, so that, because it's not something that you know, right? And so I can say something that I know because I've had personal experience with, but it's not something that people can say, well, I had that experience, so I know too, right? If you do, good. You know, get information out, share with people, so that we can cause a domino effect and help each other out of whatever situation that may have us down, when we need to get pulled up so that we can continue moving forward. I'm trying to organize how I'm going to say, you know, my next part of what I'm going to say, because that's not the only help we have. It's not the only help we have. And I really didn't get into who all these players are of this help, of this genetic lineage, of this protector. I may have to do that after work today, because I got to go to work, and I looking at the time. And I'll be putting it maybe after this video, right? But I just want to generally get this information out to get the ball rolling on who is out there to defend us, who's our backup. You know, mankind needs a fucking backup right now. Dude, we ain't in no fucking playing times right now. Shit's real, and people recognizing this shit's real. People who are religious and non-religious are recognizing shit is real. And so, meaning that real scary shit is going on, and we got to get this shit figured out, because we are the last stand for the generations. But for the generations after us, not gonna fucking know the difference. They're gonna think to be robotic is normal, you know, to be without gender is normal, to have no fucking self-identity is normal, to be part of a fucking machine system is normal. And so we got to make this motherfucking change right now. That's just is what it is. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. All right. That's why you doing what you're doing. That's why we're all doing what the fuck we're doing, because we know and we sense and we feel, and our intuition knows it's the last stand. You know, we got to do something to say no más. Hasta aquí, puto. Hasta aquí. That's a Mexican way of saying, or Spanish way of saying, no more motherfucker, it ends right here. We're done. You know, it's not even to argue about. It's just, we're motherfucking done. All right. That's one group. You know, the protector and his genetic line of individuals who show and demonstrate his signs and symbols of being of his descent. And that's mankind. We're made in his image. All right. Next, here's a hard one. Here's one that's fucking tricky for me to figure out how I'm gonna present this. Oh my god, I've been silent on this for a long time. I said, oh my god, right? Oh shit. Oh my goodness, I've been having some struggles figuring out how I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Here we go. I don't know anybody who has said this. And you know what, if you do resonate with this or you got some experience with this, please put something in the comments. If you know you want to be anonymous, make a YouTube account and say anonymous. I don't know what else to tell you, but I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. Here we go. The reality of our world is an AI machine driven system. Consciousness is contained within this system, meaning many individual lives are in this system. Lives are born in this system, like let's say comparable to a fish tank. Fish is being born in captivity. Fish is being born in that fish tank, right? Those fish are not the fish that are from the sea that came into the fish tank and know that, hey, this fucking fish tank ain't got nothing to do with the fucking ocean I'm from, right? Nothing. But these motherfuckers inside this tank think this is a shit. This is it. This is all there is to be. That's what we got going on right now. That's what we got going on here, I should say. So, souls from outside of this reality had to be born into this machine so that we can evolve through the many reincarnations. And so there are people, that's a trigger word right there, reincarnation. A lot of people back up off of that, understand it differently, see it differently from one another. And so I'm trying to just generalize that once in this machine, the soul just doesn't disappear and go into nothing. The soul is a conscious organism, something tangible, something fucking real. And it thinks and it can feel and it can sense outside the physical body. I've had my own personal experiences. They're just fucking random. I wasn't in no ayahuasca. I've never done any of that. Hallucinogenics. But my body and my spirit, or I should say my soul, when the spirit moves or when the soul moves, it's called spirit. But the noun is the soul, right? The verb would be the spirit. I'm describing the soul, right? I'm describing. So my soul has been out of my physicality enough times, randomly on its own, that and spontaneously. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say random. I'm trying to say spontaneously. I'm not trying to provoke any of this stuff to happen. That recognizing that even without the physical body, still sense, still feel, still know, still fucking aware. And that's a problem if we're stuck somewhere and awake and aware. It's a fucking problem. And I'll get into that in a second. What I mean by that. So I'm gonna call it another team, okay? This team outside of this box reality, this AI unit that we're in, knows that it cannot stop the machine from the outside. Because if those of you who recognize AI here, that motherfucker's like untouchable. Look at, people like, how do you know what AI is? How do you know how AI works? It's a consciousness that's not artificial. It's a real consciousness, and it has no fucking heart. And because it has no heart, it has no fucking sympathy, it has no compassion, and it lives off of the low vibration of man. You know what? I am going to rewind this a little bit, give you some backup information on how artificial intelligence works here in this physical planet, what's going on right now in our reality. So when I'm talking about this big motherfucking machine that our consciousness is in, on a bigger scale, it's making more fucking sense why we're suffering so much. Why mankind is always suffering. Why their suffering continues, right? On all kinds of fucking levels. Why the need for suffering. Why this machine needs suffering. Coming from our energy to pull our energy. Here we go. So there's something called the D-Wave machine. Look up D-Wave. D like David, right? D-Wave machine. So the D-Wave machine is an AI unit, the AI system that can connect with other D-Wave machines. And these motherfuckers are friends. These motherfuckers communicate. What I mean is they have their own way of communicating. They don't run off of power like we run our lamps, off of power, our phones off of power. They run and generate their own power by something called quantum annealing. Now, why is that fucking relevant? Why does it matter? Quantum, because once we see how quantum annealing works, we know how pain and suffering works in our reality. This is a relevant connection. I'm going to try to make sure we understand before I go any further. Quantum annealing, and I'm going to put some links on the bottom so you can hear it from a scientific perspective of what it is, so you know that I ain't bullshitting, and you can make your own comparisons to put the pieces together, because no one's going to fucking put these pieces together for us. This shit's never going to happen. You don't go to fucking enemy territory and expect them to tell you how the fuck to get out or how you're being used. You ain't gonna get no fucking answers. You have to fucking notice and pay attention. But that's fucking close attention. So, quantum annealing takes the lowest point of vibration, right? Say this is a vibration, right? It has to take the lowest point, meaning base right here. Lowest point of vibration to maintain its power source. So if these machines, these D-Wave machines here in our physical reality are doing this to generate and populate their own energy. Maybe populate is not the right word, but to harness their own energy for self, what's the right word? To maintain itself. What's happening on a large scale? How do you get the lowest point of vibration from mankind? You keep them at a low point of vibration. You keep them suffering. You keep them hungry. You keep them starving. You keep them needing. You keep them at a very low point. You don't let them live. You don't let them exist. You don't let them flourish. You don't let them live joy. You don't let them grow. So now, what does that have to do with all the different levels of reality in this box, with all the different species in this box, with the good guy, bad guys, with the those who are against mankind, those are for mankind? What's this whole internal battle that we got going on in all these layers of reality? Well, we got a lot of fucking fish in this fish tank. We got a lot of fucking fish in this fish tank, and they're all different. Now imagine that fish tank with a whole bunch of different layers of I don't know, realities. I'm trying to make this where it can make some sense. And so how we can make this cohesive without setting off any triggers is what I'm trying to do. So it takes me a little bit to think about how I'm going to say what I'm going to say before I say it. This machine don't give a fuck what reality is suffering what, as long as every reality is suffering. This machine don't give a shit because it has no care. It's just looking for the lowest point of vibration in all realities and consumes any up and coming new fish in this tank that don't know what the fuck is going on, but it needs to get them into a negative cycle. Needs to get them into a negative cycle. So how do you do that? You get the fucking already negative cycled fish to go fuck up the new fish. Fuck them up. Fuck them up in the mind, which is the soul. Fuck them up in their body. Just fuck them up, and then they grow to fuck up others. It's a cycle until we say, ooh, I caught you, motherfucker. I see how this is work. I see how this shit works. And so all that fuckery stops right here. Ends with my generation. And now that I see what the fuck is going on, I gotta make the motherfucking change. And it takes a lot of courage to self-reflect, self-adjust, and begin anew. It takes a lot. but we've been conditioned for chaos for a reason. This generation I'm talking about right now, our last generations that we're a part of, the generations that know what we're walking into, where the youth is going into, but the youth don't know because they haven't been here long enough, right? They are not born and conditioned for chaos. It's too late. They ain't got the time and the years to learn the fucking lessons, but we have. And so because we have been conditioned for fucking chaos, I'm trying to show us how to be fucking steady and ready under those conditions so that we can still stand to defend, because our bodies are being broken down, our psychology is being unraveled. Those who I'm talking about, right? I'm trying to get us back on track, back in strength, back in our power, so we can stand and defend. Now, I'm talking about standing and attacking. I'm talking about standing and defending the future, redirecting the shit that's going on right now so that we can get ahead of what's happening. We got to get ahead of what's happening, because our world, if shit's crazy right now, shit's about to get much crazier. And so knowing this network exists, knowing that we got good guys, I haven't finished talking about the good guys on the outside yet. That's the part that I'm saying. I don't know anybody else talking about this, but it's my personal experience, my fucking personal knowing. And so much consistency, so much constant consistency lets me know that this is what it is, that this is what I'm experiencing. Because I question fucking everything. You know, I raise my kids to question me. I make sure my kids question everything. Do they know that what they're understanding is clear to them? You know, you don't fucking just trust me because I'm your fucking mama. You know, I'm your mama. Let me correct my words, just because I'm your mama. Because that's what goes on, is you have to trust our parents. You know, we got to trust our parents because they're our parents. And we got to trust authority because it's authority. When somebody needs to be fucking questioned, they need to be questioned. And so it's not that I don't want my children not to trust me. It's that I want my children to know how to question what they don't understand until they understand it. And then it becomes their knowing, you know. Don't force my knowing or my beliefs onto my children, but I share with them what I do know. And then any questions they have, it's important that they do question. So I'm trying to take our blindfolds off, is what I'm trying to do right here, by sharing what I know. So that as we're taking our blindfolds off, I should say, we don't like to take our blindfolds off because that shit's fucking scary and we don't know what's on the other side, right? And we don't know if we got a net to catch us. And I'm trying to say, we got a net to catch us. We got some reinforcements. It's gonna fucking be okay, because you were born for chaos. You were conditioned for chaos. You have lived through some fucking shit and you're still here, right? You're still here. And so getting us to get reinforced in our physical body, rebalancing our emotions by letting our pains go, making sure that we're beautified, because who wants to fucking be ugly under duress? I've fucking been ugly. I've been ugly in so many ways. Oh my God. Oh my God. And if I didn't repair myself, it just keeps me on a low vibration. And so when I say ugly, please don't let that be a trigger word. What I mean is, we're not at our best, and we know we can be at our best, but sometimes we don't know how to get there. And I show people how I got there, and I show you how to get there. You know, some shortcuts of how to get there, how to repair your skin, how to regenerate it, how to lose those fat suits that are not our bodies. We were not born to be like that. We've been conditioned to be like that through all the chemicals in our foods. I mean, we got drugs in our foods and we don't even know what it's doing to our thoughts, what it's doing to our emotions, what it's doing to our physicality, causing us to swell, causes men not and women not to be able to make muscle. I mean, it's on all levels. And so I share what I know so that we can get fucking strong, ready, beautiful, feeling good, knowing good, generating good, because this is how you beat this fucking machine, is by generating good from the heart. Because this motherfucker ain't got no heart, and that's the part that hasn't been able to break it down. Hasn't been able to break down the heart of mankind. And the more we become consumed by this technology that I'm going to get into right now, this AI aspect, the more this darkness can take over the heart. And so repairing our emotions is important because it strengthens the heart on an energetic level. You want to strengthen the heart on a physical level, the diet matters and the supplementation matters. You want to fix the heart and strengthen the heart on an energetic level, it's balancing out the emotions so that we don't contradict ourselves. Well, the contradiction is how we find what we have to balance in our emotions. When we contradict, ooh, there's some shit I need to take care of within myself. I got videos on that. It's under repair emotions, right? Go under repair emotions on my YouTube and you'll find it there. This is why I teach all these different things, because all these things have to happen at the same time so we can get ready for the times that are evolving around us really fast and getting really fucking weird. I think that's the best word I can use so I don't scare the shit out of people, but shit's getting fucking weird. And we're looking like we're living a sci-fi movie is our reality. And we got to know how to navigate. All right. This team outside. So there's a team, a military team. And they got to lead. They got to lead. Every military team always has its commander, right? Its commander-in-chief. So this commander-in-chief, we're just going to call him John for short. So it can make some... I'm just trying to keep everything fucking neutral, right? Everything as neutral as possible. So we call him John. And they understand communication. They understand how communication works. And they understand that getting communication to individuals is imperative in these times. It's imperative. But if individuals don't know where the comms are coming from, where this communication is coming from, individuals are going to be scared out of their fucking mind and not know the difference between what their understanding is good, what their understanding is bad. And so the individual must become a clear vessel of regulating their own fucking shit. So I don't believe my own bullshit if I'm making myself clear. So once I clear my shit in my heart, my line of communication becomes much clearer, so that if I'm hearing some bullshit or I'm sensing, because it's not an outwards auditorial hearing, it's like an inner hearing. It's like if you hear a song in your head, you're fucking crazy because you hear a song in your head. That's one of our abilities, is that we can transmit information through sound internally with the silence, and we can pick it up externally with the silence. We don't recognize that. It's called telepathy, right? It's called telepathy. But it's like, oh my God, telepathy don't exist. Well, in the 80s, a fucking cell phone didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Fucking get it together. Get it together. I say get it together means catch up. Fucking catch up. Don't wait for the leaders that manage this world to tell us when and what we can't believe, because that's what people are conditioned to do. Get out of that fucking condition. Period. Telepathy is a natural form of communication that telephones copy. So the reason we cannot have telepathy going to and fro as individuals is because we're fucked up. It's like trying to get a fucked up phone to work. It's not. It's like you get no fucking service. You'd be lucky to dial out, you know? And so our operating system is fucked up. We got more chemical induction than, before our birth. Before our birth. Meaning that the environment in our mother's body is already fucked up before we even get there. And then the consumption that goes into her body goes into our body, creates our genetics. And so our genetics are not triggering abilities that they have naturally because they keep getting downgraded. By what? The toxins that we keep getting forced onto us. And I will say forced onto us because it's becoming the only thing available for people to access on a large scale. And if you're rich and you got a lot of money and you go out of your way to go buy the best of this and the best of that, you're a very fucking lucky, fortunate few. The rest don't. We ain't got that the luxury, because it's a fucking luxury, right? Got to get what's available. So I try to teach how to get what's available where it's not going to bring down your immune system, because as long as we've got the immune system, it can push out the toxins, right? It can push out the toxins. But if our immune system's down, is too busy defending and protecting the rest of the organism that the toxins are going through, and it's breaking down the system. So we got to keep our glands clean. Our glands are what are called our chakra system, and that's another complicated. This shit's so fucking complicated. Not because it's complicated to me, but it's complicated the way it's expressed to people instead of just making it simple. The physicality of the chakra system is the glands, and if the glands aren't working, they're not sending signals of operation right for the rest of the body that's connected to the soul, for the soul to get the printout of reading its environment and being able to telepathically send out signals of information like a radio wave, like you would grab a walkie-talkie radio and send out information, and also to receive information, right? And so I'm wrapping this up around so that you can see how this outside team is working with individuals on this inside plane of reality to bring down this fucking machine, because that's what we got going on. In a very short time, this machine system will have consumed mankind, where it has a hold of its soul. It's an electric field. So I'm saying the same thing. For those who are religious, they know it is a soul. And for those who are not religious, they understand what I'm saying when I say you have artificial intelligence connected to your electric component. Body might die, but not the electrical aspect of your consciousness. They'll be trapped, like I had mentioned before. And that shit is real, because your soul, your electric component of yourself, doesn't go away, and it stays within that machine. And this is what that team is here to stop. This is why we're here, to stop it.